And welcome back. According to police records, there were 8 burglaries in George Zimmerman's gated community in the past 14 months. He's the man, of course, who killed Trayvon Martin a month ago, sparking national outrage. Zimmerman called 911 at least once a month in the preceding months prior to the shooting death of Martin. He called a non-emergency number 46 times since 2004. Joining me now is Crystal McCrary, attorney and author of Inspiration. And, of course, Mark and Tanya stay with me. Crystal, is this gentleman a cop wannabe, an overzealous sort of cop wannabe? Let's call him what it is.
I'm not sure if he's a cop wannabe or if he's just highly paranoid or if he has too much time on his hands. But certainly in his perception of Trayvon Martin, there were racial biases. There was some sort of biases. And, you know, I want to say his friend who has been defending him.
Yes, he attacked me for suggesting, that, God forbid, that it was a little paranoid streak in Mr. Zimmerman.
Well, listen, you know, his friend says George Zimmerman is not a racist, but you don't have to be a racist to racially be biased against someone. Well, and that, I believe, is what one of the issues is.
Well, Crystal,
here.
I think for me it's a big issue because it showed those of us that didn't think we had racial bias that we do.
Absolutely.
And I've spent the last day, I was telling you guys during the break, looking at social psychology research, and it shows very clearly that images of African-American men, people will have hostility biases, and when they encounter somebody like that and they have that expectation of hostility, will evoke hostility. This in an experimental setting. And that operates at an unconscious level, and this tragedy brings this now all to consciousness. And we can't let it go.
Right.
We have to keep at it because it's the next layer of expunging racism from this society, right?
Well, absolutely. I think a lot of people don't even realize because it's
unconscious.
It's unconscious, subconscious. I mean,
but I think my African-American friends are aware of it, and I always sort of dismissed it. Tanya, you're laughing at me. I was going, oh, come on.
Well, if you're not a black person, if you haven't walked in the shoes of a black man or a black woman, you don't understand it. I'm the mother of an 11-year-old black boy who happens to be big, who happens to be rambunctious and an athlete. And I remember when he was in 2nd grade, at a private school, by the way, I received a phone call home from his teacher while he was in chess club telling me that my 11-year-old son had committed vandalism. I'm sorry, at the time he was 7 years old, that my 7-year-old son had committed vandalism.
He threw his bishop or something?
Well, no, I'm thinking, right. Well, I'm thinking what he committed.
How interesting she used the word vandalism.
Well, doesn't he lack the mens rea to commit vandalism at 7 years old? Let's start there. But getting beyond the legal misclassification of what he did, I found out he had scribbled with pencil on the desk, something that was not even discernible. But yet the biases that are built in the perceptions of African-American boys cause so much of society to cringe up and think of them as a threat or suspicious.
What does that feel like as a mom?
It feels horrible as a mother. I mean, I live in fear. Even though my son is 11 years old, walking around our neighborhood in New York City, and we live in a, you know, quote-unquote nice neighborhood of Manhattan, but when I first let him, like, walk to the park alone, wearing his hoodie, which he frequently does because he plays basketball, and I love that, by the way, the LeBron James hoodie with all the Miami Heat, we are Trayvon Martin. I said to him, listen, I had to give him the talk. If you get stopped by a police officer walking, it was in the front of my mind. I was like, this is what you say. Yes, sir. No, sir. I live at this address. Let him or her know immediately that you live in this community and you belong here, even though they may think that you don't look like you belong here. And that's something it's a terrible feeling as a mother. And many black mothers or just mothers of black sons go through this every day.
Speaking of this, let's bring our caller in. Her name is Sandra, and she's had some experience with this. And by the way, about the hoodie issue, our buddy Geraldo said that your son should just not wear the hoodie.
Right, somehow it's his fault.
And then Russell Simmons had a really interesting response to it. He said, oh, so women shouldn't wear dresses because they're asking to be raped if they have a skirt on?
Classic blame the victim.
Did you ever, see, it shows you, I had no idea that a hoodie had any of this connotation.
I wear hoodies almost every night when I do my radio show. But I'm white, so it doesn't matter to me. That's why you didn't know it. Well, see, you're racist. It's that unconscious level of racism. We didn't know. We didn't care. We need to care about this.